You've heard of the Glorious Revolution of 1688? It lasted a year, and it was a pivotal event in British history. It resulted in the disposition of King James II, a Catholic monarch, and the ascension of his Protestant daughter, Mary II, and her husband, William III of Orange, who was the leader of the Dutch revolt against the Spanish Habsburgs. Now, despite its peaceful image in England, the revolution was secured through military force in Ireland and Scotland. It evolved a foreign invasion by William of Orange, who was both a Dutch stadtholder, that's a chief magistrate, and he was also James II's nephew. The revolution is considered a cornerstone in the development of parliamentary sovereignty and modern democratic governance in Britain. This was the last time anyone defeated England in a fight. And as we said, King James II got booted out, and his daughter Mary and her husband William took over.
So like a curious traveler on a quest, we embark upon a journey of information. Stay with us for a ride into knowledge.
Jewish people were instrumental in this change by giving money and aid to William's army. At this point, more Jewish people came to the country. The Jewish people thought that William would let their group grow, like it had done in the Netherlands. The Jewish guys helped William's army with weapons and food. A Jewish banker gave William a bunch of money, like $2 million, to pay for everything. Because of this change, the Jewish group in England was now safe, because they were connected to the main group in the Netherlands. Now, even though the king charged them more taxes for a bit, they did well in England's trading diamonds and other commodities. William paid them back by making the Bank of England, which the Jewish people mostly owned. And after this, the Jewish group in England was never in big trouble again. Some super religious people called Puritans wanted the Jews so they could try to convert them to Christianity. They thought England was a special place and should do this. Now, most of these Jews were Sephardic, but some were Ashkenazi Jews. Some of the English people actually liked Jewish people. But even though some people liked having Jewish people in England, others didn't trust them. In 1672, King Charles II said everyone could worship how they wanted to. But he changed his mind a month later because people got really upset. The next winter, some Jewish leaders got in trouble for meeting to pray, but the king helped them out. Jewish people were becoming important in England's money stuff, making deals with other countries. And the Jewish people in London were kind of in the middle, not quite citizens, but not really foreigners either. Even though they were doing okay, some English people still didn't trust them. The Jewish community in the Netherlands was doing better and had more power, and the Jews in England wanted the same thing. The Dutch liked these people because they were good at trade. And even though they weren't supposed to have important jobs, they still got them. And around 1674, the people supplying the Dutch army were mostly from a Jewish company, and they helped out a lot in that glorious revolution. A Jewish guy gave William a bunch of money to invade England, and he didn't even want anything back if William lost. And overall, William III became good friends with rich Jewish people. And when William came with new Jewish folks from Holland, they didn't mix well with the Jewish folks already in England. But the king needed cash because he was fighting a war. So he thought the rich Jewish folks in London were an easy target. Even so, these Jewish folks kept supporting the king. They even stopped Jewish brokers from using insurance that would protect them if the king lost, saying it was bad for the Jewish community. They knew their safety depended on the king's liking them. And these Jewish folks were super important to the war effort. They didn't fight, but they gave money and supplies that kept the war going. And without them, the king might have lost. William paid them back by being cool with different religions and ideas. Now, because things went well with the Glorious Revolution, life got better for the English Jewish community. People didn't pay as much attention to them, and they were treated better. Many said the Jews should be tolerated, and Jewish people in England were safer than any other place. And to show that they were thankful, the Jewish community gave gifts to important people. Instead of being politicians, Jewish people were more into money and business. They really changed how trade and money worked in England. King William even started the Bank of England in 1694 because some Dutch Sephardic Jews helped him get into power. These Jews quickly got lots of shares in the bank. One was the first to buy stock, and his money went way up. Another owned a lot of the bank's stocks. And by 1701, over 10% of the people who could be in charge of the bank, they were Jewish. And Jewish people also took over the London Stock Exchange and made it grow. They got richer and did well in England's business world. They mostly traded diamonds from India. Now later, when they found diamonds in Brazil, South America became the place for diamonds until South Africa took over. Even though Portugal controlled the diamond business, Jewish people were still important because they smuggled many diamonds from Amsterdam to London. A company called the East Indian Company let the diamonds trade happen if they got paid. And the diamonds were traded for stuff like silver, which was then sent to other countries. And the people who sold the diamonds were usually these Sephardic Jews, and they sold them to Ashkenazi dealers. Now, some of the most famous Jewish families in England started in the diamond business. One Ashkenazi guy, Benjamin Levy, was involved in all sorts of businesses like the East Indian Company and the Royal African Company, and near the end of the 1600s, two important things happened for Jewish people in England. First, the government said there could be only a few Jewish brokers, people who buy and sell things for others. Second, people tried to make a law that would hurt Jewish people, but it didn't pass. And in 1699, Solomon de Medina became the first Jew to eat with the king, William III. And he even got knighted. The king owed money to Jewish people like Medina, so he gave him these honors. Because there were more Jewish people in London, they built a new synagogue in 1701. And this showed that the people in England were starting to accept them. Basically, the Glorious Revolution made sure Jewish people could live in England without big worries. And before folks weren't so sure about them being there. Jewish folks helped pay for and get stuff for the last time England was ever successfully invaded. Oliver Cromwell let Jews back in 1656, and people put up with them, but they weren't really safe. The Jews wanted to do in England like they had done in Holland. And Jewish people gave William of Orange money for that glorious revolution, and they were super important in making it work. After the Glorious Revolution, Jewish people in England were safe and did a great deal in making money. And this shows that if a small group of people are organized, they can make big changes. The Jewish community of Holland was small, but their money paid for a whole new government in England. And some types of Christians, like Puritans and Calvinists, liked Jewish people. As we said, the Puritans thought that they were special and that making money was good. Calvinism also had nice ideas about Jewish people. The Glorious Revolution got rid of the super powerful King James II and put in a king with less power. It also made the economy more about free trade instead of protecting local stuff. And after the Glorious Revolution, Holland started doing worse, and England became a big shot in the world. Jewish people kept being imported and trading for England, and the Jewish community in England became one of the richest and the most important in the world. Just more food for thought.
Thanks for watching this and all our videos. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until we meet again, stay curious, fellow travelers, and have a great day.